So Chad Daybell's house is up for sale. What's going to happen with his children? What's going to happen with this case? Well, we're going to talk about that, so stick around. Take a minute to hit like or subscribe. Thank you. So we're back on the Doomsday serial killer case. The Doomsday couple, Chad Daybell, Lori Vallow, are accused of taking the life of her son, JJ Vallow, her daughter, Tylee Ryan, and last and not least, Chad Daybell's wife, Tammy Daybell, all slain after being condemned zombies. The sad part about this story is you had several people also involved with this group that is watching this stuff unfold, but they don't do anything about it. Lori Vallow was arrested in 2020, as was Chad Daybell, after they found 2 of the 3 victims on Chad Daybell's property. So only 1 out of 3 children that belonged to Lori Vallow survived. However, Chad Daybell's children actually survived, all of them. None of them become zombies. And after police find these 2 children on Chad Daybell's property, do you know that several of Chad's kids continue to stay on that property? They don't really ask questions about it. They don't seem to have any care in the world. They found 2 deceased bodies on that property. Now, Chad Daybell had to sign that property over because he didn't have enough money to pay his attorney. And why doesn't he have enough money, especially after getting the life insurance money after murdering his wife Tammy? And we're guessing that's somewhere over $400,000. We know that his kids, once he was arrested, he gave them about only $8,000 each. That's just a small chunk out of that. Where is the rest of that money? Probably a lot of it is in his attorney. He made sure that he had an attorney that he was paying for. But as soon as money got tight, Lori wasn't going to be part of that, just whatever he had to give her. Because Lori Vallow broke Charles before any of this really started to heat up. So after they shot Charles, she didn't have much money to collect. Lori Vallow had burned through $30,000 quite quickly. Remember, she wasn't able to get the insurance money once they murdered Charles Vallow. That went to his sister. So, now let's get to what's important. And it's the house that belongs to Chad Daybell and Tammy Daybell. It's up for sale. Who's going to want to buy this home? How much will they get for it? What's going to happen with Chad's kids who are living there? So we know that Emma Daybell, her husband, and her children's been living there. We know that she doesn't seem to have any type of remorse for what happened to those kids. She really could care less. You know, this house meant a lot to Chad. And his fortune telling, his visions before all of this went down, this house would play a huge role in his future. So remember, it's around 2015, Chad says that he's having some serious visions. He said that he started to think that Idaho was his place and it was appealing to him. Chad was going to the temple for confirmation. According to Chad, the spirit had prompted him that this was true. This is what he needed to do. He was finishing his latest novel, Days of Fury, around this time. Around February of 2015, he says he receives another fork in the road, or a vision. Chad looks down the right fork where he sees in the distance a glorious city with a temple on a hill. So for those of you who are not familiar with this case, he's talking about Rexburg. There's going to be this temple that is going to sit on a hill in a certain area with the city of light surrounding it. When Chad meets Lori, this is one of the discussions I'm pretty sure they go over because she's very excited about this temple. Chad hears a voice say,
Moving to Rexburg will be a tremendous blessing to you, your children, and your grandchildren.
Then Chad says that he looks down the left fork and he senses it represents them not moving from Springville. That path was filled with many lost opportunities, both spiritually and financially. Chad says he goes back to read the children's patriarchal blessing, but he doesn't go into details of what's there. In 2015, it suggests that he is using blessings as a way to foretell his future. Chad Daybell wrote that he was sitting at the dinner table with his family one night when it slips out them moving to Idaho. Of course, Tammy's taken by surprise and she yells out, "What?" Tammy's not excited about this at all. In fact, this was quite upsetting to her. It takes her a long time to come to grips that, this is something that they're going to decide to ultimately do. But she believes that Chad has these gifts like everyone else surrounding him. Tammy's very close to her family, and so this becomes a very difficult decision for her. It's not going to be easy. She has to move away from everything that she knows and loves. Now, remember, Chad's brother and his sister-in-law live in Rexburg, and so they're not very excited about this new information. In fact, they are regretting it. So after a while, Tammy kind of pressed the spirit and found out that she would consider moving. They had learned from their experience that it would, basically moving would fall into place almost magically if it were supposed to, go that way. If it weren't, then it wouldn't happen. He says his wife starts looking at the real estate and websites. Then there's a house north of Rexburg that jumped out to them. They also looked at a second home nearby. Chad Daybell makes arrangements to meet up with a real estate agent the following Saturday. They meet for the first one and then for the second. The family's not too excited about the first house, but they are excited about the second. In fact, Chad says the spirit actually moves him to purchase that home. While driving in that area, Chad says that he sees lights shine through the cloud over the city of Ashton. And there are magical signs saying that this is definitely the area he needs to be in. In fact, he will say that he peered across the valley and he could sense how it had been prepared, by the Lord as a refuge from the coming storms. It will be a great haven for those that are pure in heart. It's where the great gathering would happen for his humble servants. As he's driving along this valley, he says he notices that the sunlight flooded that valley. His heart was nearly bursting with joy. The vision actually progressed, and it was like a future time sequence. And here's what's quite important. He says it's at that moment that he saw thousands of tents filled that valley in an organized manner, so in clusters, and they're only a few miles apart. The tents were replaced by modular homes later. That's important for you guys to understand when you heard him speaking of modular homes. What are these tents surrounding? Well, could it be Chad's home, or could it be a temple that's up on a hill? We're not certain, but we do know that a temple has been seen. They've gone and pointed it out with a real estate agent. They pointed it out with Melanie Gibb and David Warwick, but they claimed that they couldn't see it. This was in trial, and the reason why David Warwick and Melanie Gibb could not see it, it's because it wasn't built yet. It was there in spirit. So, did Chad Daybell see that he and Lori Vallow were going to be behind bars? Why did they think that they could get away with taking the lives of two young children and that they wouldn't find them on his property? So now, were those visions all for nothing? Because now that house is up for sale for how much? Over $300,000. Not only that, it comes with a warning that there was a tragic event that happened there. So it's going to be quite interesting to see who will have the galls to buy this, who wants to buy this, because after all, it's probably one of the most horrific stories ever told. So, what's going to happen to Emma Daybell and her family? Where are they going to go? How is Chad Daybell handling this, realizing that now all those visions he's had have been completely wrong? It's not going nowhere near the direction he preached it to go. And what's really sad is several people believe and continue to believe that Chad Daybell has gifts. These are real gifts. Sadly, his kids have been destroyed, their whole future, their whole lives. So the Daybell children knew this home, they knew this area, they knew the people, and he just absolutely destroyed everything for them. Now, just imagine you're going to purchase this home, you're interested in it for $350,000, and then you see this caption where it says, quote, "There's a very tragic situation with this home. Please have your realtor investigate for you," end quote. Chad Daybell and Lori Vallow have managed to destroy more lives than I've ever seen one couple destroy. I am dead serious about this. I've never seen a story where so many people were being affected. Chad Daybell, remember, he got over $400,000 in life insurance money when Tammy was murdered. Let's just say that now. Not allegedly, but was murdered. Chad Daybell's kids, we know that they got a measly $8,000 each. There's 5 children, so that's a very small amount that's accounted for. Where is the rest of that money? We know that he's paying for his attorney, but he wasn't paying for Lori's attorney, which I thought was kind of funny. We know that Lori and Chad were seen carrying a big bag of cash in Hawaii, according to Nate Eaton. They were living some freestyle lifestyles. We know that, so that must have been a little bit expensive. So where is all this money going? I think it's safe to say that Chad Daybell most likely left his kids with absolutely nothing but heartache, chaos, destruction. So guys, share your thoughts below. Do you think this house is going to sell? Would you buy it? And what do you think about Chad Daybell's visions now? Also, don't forget, we have missing girls out there. Their stories continue to go unanswered. There's no answers. There's no attention. Don't forget people like Jasmine Robinson. These people continue to need our help, and they need justice. Love you guys, and I'll see you guys soon.